In the evolving security landscape of Europe, air defense has quietly moved from a supporting capability to a central pillar of national survival. For both Sweden and Germany, the renewed focus on layered air defense reflects a shared recognition that modern conflicts are increasingly shaped by drones, cruise missiles, and low-altitude threats, rather than traditional massed air attacks alone. Within this context, Sweden's decision to procure the IRIS-T SLS system from Germany is more than a technical acquisition. It represents a strategic choice that combines trust, interoperability, and a distinctly European approach to defense cooperation. For Sweden, the post-NATO era has fundamentally altered defense planning assumptions. Long known for its policy of military non-alignment, Stockholm now sits firmly within the collective defense architecture of the alliance, facing the Baltic Sea as a strategic frontier rather than a buffer zone. This shift has sharpened the urgency of protecting ground forces, critical infrastructure, and mobilization hubs against short-range aerial threats. The IRIS-T SLS as a short-range air defense system is tailored precisely for this mission set. It is designed to protect maneuver units and fixed assets against helicopters, unmanned aerial vehicles, and low-flying aircraft, filling a critical layer beneath medium-range systems. Importantly, the IRIS-T SLS does not exist in isolation within Swedish defense planning. It complements a broader, multi-layered air defense concept that includes medium-range capabilities such as IRIS-T SLM and longer-range surveillance and command systems. This layered approach reflects lessons drawn from recent conflicts, where the absence of short-range protection has left even advanced forces vulnerable to inexpensive drones and precision strikes. By investing in the SLS variant, Sweden is addressing the most immediate and frequent forms of aerial threat, rather than focusing solely on high-end scenarios. One of the most striking aspects of this decision is that Sweden did not attempt to develop a purely national solution, despite possessing a highly capable defense industrial base. Swedish industry has a long tradition of producing sophisticated military systems, from combat aircraft to submarines and sensors. However, the choice to adopt a German-developed system highlights a pragmatic shift in defense logic. Time to deployment, cost predictability, and assured interoperability with allies now outweigh the symbolic value of absolute industrial autonomy. In a NATO environment, the ability to integrate seamlessly with partner forces has become a strategic requirement rather than a secondary benefit. From a German perspective, the IRIS-T program represents a different but complementary strategic narrative. Germany has often been cautious in presenting itself as a military leader, particularly in the export of defense systems. Yet through IRIS-T, Berlin has emerged as a central technical enabler of European air defense without resorting to overt political leadership. The system is widely perceived as defensive, modular, and adaptable, characteristics that resonate strongly with both German strategic culture and Nordic security preferences. Rather than exporting influence through doctrine or political pressure, Germany exports reliability and engineering credibility. The partnership between Swedish procurement authorities and Diehl Defense illustrates this dynamic clearly. The relationship extends beyond a simple buyer-seller interaction to include training, logistics support, and long-term sustainment. Such arrangements create structural interdependence that is rarely controversial, but deeply consequential. Over time, shared maintenance standards, operational concepts, and software updates bind national forces together in practical day-to-day ways. This form of integration is often more durable than high-profile political declarations, precisely because it operates below the level of public controversy. Public reaction in Sweden to the IRIS-T SLS contract has been notably muted, especially when compared to debates surrounding other defense procurements in Europe. This relative absence of controversy is revealing. Air defense is widely understood by the Swedish public as a protective measure rather than an instrument of power projection. Unlike offensive weapons systems, it does not trigger strong ethical or political objections. Moreover, the broader societal consensus following NATO accession has reframed defense spending as a necessary insurance policy rather than an optional expenditure. In this environment, investments in air defense are seen as safeguarding civilian life and national resilience. German public attitudes also play a subtle role in shaping this partnership. In Germany, there is strong sensitivity to how military capabilities are framed and used. The IRIS-T system aligns well with a defensive narrative, emphasizing protection, deterrence, and alliance solidarity. Its deployment by partners such as Sweden reinforces the perception that Germany contributes to European security through stability and reliability rather than dominance. This alignment of public narratives on both sides helps explain why the German-Swedish air defense partnership has progressed with minimal friction. Strategically, the IRIS-T SLS contract must also be understood within the broader framework of European air defense initiatives. As Europe seeks to close long-standing capability gaps, particularly along its northern and eastern flanks, standardized systems become increasingly valuable. Sweden's adoption of IRIS-T enhances compatibility with neighboring states that operate or plan to operate similar systems. This contributes to a more coherent regional air defense posture, reducing the burden on any single nation during a crisis and strengthening collective deterrence. Looking toward the period from the mid-20s to the mid-30s, the implications of this partnership extend beyond the system itself. For Sweden, the IRIS-T SLS sets a precedent for future procurement decisions, signaling a preference for European cooperation that delivers rapid capability and alliance integration. For Germany, it reinforces a role as a cornerstone of Europe's defensive architecture, particularly in areas where technical competence and trust are more influential than political ambition. For Europe as a whole, it suggests that effective defense cooperation does not always require grand multinational programs. Sometimes, smaller, focused systems can deliver disproportionate strategic value. Ultimately, the significance of the IRIS-T SLS agreement lies not in its specifications alone, but in what it reveals about changing defense cultures in Northern Europe. Trust has become a strategic asset, expressed through procurement choices that prioritize interoperability, reliability, and shared responsibility. In an era of persistent uncertainty, the German-Swedish air defense partnership demonstrates how quiet, technically grounded cooperation can reshape the security landscape just as profoundly as more visible political initiatives.